Hey everybody, how's it going? I have a new barrel here for the CZ457 that just arrived in the mail, and I thought I'd do a little unboxing video. Now with the whole COVID-19 health crisis going on right now, the range has closed, so I won't be able to shoot it in this video, but of course in future videos I do plan to put it through its paces. I was interested to try it, not that the CZ457 needs an upgraded barrel. I think the match grade barrel that comes on the 457 MTR is plenty good, and you're not going to be purchasing any more points by upgrading your barrel, but it's just something I wanted to try out. So again, this is going to be an unboxing video and my first impressions without being able to shoot it, of course. So let's just go ahead and open it here. I'll just cut through. And it's packaged pretty nicely. There is some foam protecting the ends of it there. And we do have a nice IBI sticker, which I'm gonna slap on the safe, of course. And the barrel itself. All right, so this barrel is the 22-inch non-fluted version with their flared end at the muzzle here. And again, it's 22 inches long, which is fairly long for rimfire. I know a lot of rimfires are going to even like 16 inches. I would say 18 to 20 inches is pretty standard, but 22 inches is pretty long for a rimfire barrel. Okay, so we're at the workbench here with the new barrel from IBI for the CZ. And it's pretty much a pretty perfect length for the rifle. Again, it's 22 inches long, and the MTR comes with a 20-inch barrel. At least this one did. I think there's a 16-inch version. So 20-inch barrel, but I added a thread adapter as well as a muzzle device. And with the 22-inch barrel here, if I line it up where it would seat into the action, it's just about, probably just a little bit less than half an inch shorter overall, including the thread adapter and muzzle device. So it's actually pretty perfect. I know that works well with the magneto speed mount that I made for the 457. And I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick barrel swap. What's really nice about the 455s and 457s is it's a very easy barrel swap system. There's just two screws that hold it in from the underside. Okay, so I have the chassis taken off of the 457. These are the two screws I was talking about that hold the barrel into the action. And these two screws, one on either side. So this screw right here and this screw right there. Very straightforward. You simply just loosen them. You don't have to back them out all the way. The barrel will just come out, and then when you reinstall the barrel, you just tighten it down to 50 inch-pounds, which is quite a bit of force, but obviously you want to have the barrel in there nice and snug. But there is the original 457 barrel, MTR barrel. Okay, so just for curiosity's sake, I wanted to see the difference in the original barrel here and the IBI barrel in terms of their diameter and weight. So we're just going to weigh them first. And this is just in grams. So I'm weighing the MTR barrel here with the muzzle device, and hopefully it doesn't roll. but it's about 1,535 grams, so that's 3 pounds and a bit. And the IBI barrel here is 1513, so it's actually slightly lighter, which is actually surprising. I thought it felt heavier, but I guess that just shows. Yeah, so 1535. In terms of diameter, let's give it just a quick measure. Now, this is basically a straight profile on the MTR barrel, but it flares out a bit here on the IBI barrel. So I'm just going to make sure this is zeroed. Just do this in millimeters. It should be approximately 22 millimeters, which it is, as you can see there. And the IBI barrel, this is the first time I'm measuring it, is approximately the same, 21.92. The muzzle end is 23.5. So slight flare, but it is just a hair lighter than the MTR barrel with the muzzle device. So it's not going to change the balance of my gun whatsoever. Alright, so I'm just going to install the new barrel here. Again, very straightforward. I just put a very small drop of oil where it would contact, and I did clean it out, so it is nice and clean now. And so the fit of the IBI barrel into the receiver is pretty perfect. There's really no resistance, but it's not loose either, which is obviously a good thing. And it seems to self-index itself there too. So it's basically lined up. I just have to tighten these two screws down, and then we'll torque it down to spec right after. So again, I'm pretty interested to see if I notice a improvement in the group sizes, which again, I was pretty impressed with the MTR barrel to begin with, but an aftermarket barrel is always something fun to play around. So we're going to go ahead and just snug these down and then torque them. Now, CZ recommends these screws to be torqued down to 5.5 Newton meters, which is just shy of 50 inch-pounds. So I'm just gonna do approximately 50 inch-pounds. Which is pretty darn tight. You can see right there, just a hair under 50, and we're going to alternate until it until the torque wrench breaks at the recommended torque. So that's one there, and that's the other side. So that is installed. It looks pretty cool. I've always been a huge fan of stainless barrels, especially on precision setups. I mean, they just look pretty cool. So let's go ahead and throw this back in the chassis and we'll see how it looks like. Again, I won't be able to shoot it because the range is closed, but hopefully in the near future they will reopen. Hey everyone, so I'm filming this part of the video a couple days after the original unboxing and installation. I just had a few obligations that came up afterwards, so I decided to just finish off the video here. As you can see, the installation was pretty straightforward on the 455 and 457s, which is awesome. Really easy to do at home. Just initial impressions, just looking at the overall machining and general quality of the International barrel here is very good. I think the tolerances is really nice. I wanted to quickly pull up some more technical specifications that I found on their website, just for those who are more interested in that. Now, I haven't been in the precision rifle game for too long, so a lot of the terms and stuff don't mean much to me, but I figured I'd list them for anyone who's interested. Some things I forgot to mention was the crown of the barrel here is recessed quite nicely, as you can see there. I know I talk a lot about this in my videos, but it's something that is important to me. The original reason why I put a muzzle device on the original MTR barrel was not for the purpose of recoil mitigation or anything like that, but more to protect the crown of the barrel. So this one is recessed, as you can hopefully see there, by probably about 1.5 millimeters, which is nice to see. Just a little bit more peace of mind when you're going through barricades. You don't have to worry about if you bump it up against a barricade or something like that. So that's very nice to see. You can also get a little bit of a close-up of the flare towards the end of the muzzle there, where the diameter of the barrel does get larger. And again, it's pretty subtle, but it is noticeable once you look at the barrel for long enough. But on first glance, it is easy to miss. But all in all, again, I'm pretty happy with it. Obviously, I have not shot the new barrel yet, but once I have access to the range when it reopens, I'll obviously do that. I do have some land I can shoot off legally, not too far from me, but I'm kind of busy right now anyway, so I figured I might as well wait for the range to reopen. But let me pull up the website here for some more technical information off of Facebook as well as their website. Now, a little backstory of how I came to purchase this barrel in the first place. As I mentioned before, I was quite happy with the original MTR barrel to begin with. There's really no reason why you would have to upgrade your barrel, but it's just something I was interested in and wanted to try. You're not going to be able to buy any more points upgrading your barrel from the CZ MTR barrel to an aftermarket barrel, in all honesty. But again, I like the look of stainless barrels on my precision rifles, as well as I just wanted to try an aftermarket barrel as well. So the other part was on the Canadian Rimfire Precision Series Facebook group, which is basically NRL 22, but here in Canada. IBI posted a post that basically said they're introducing a new website, but along with the new site, they were going to increase their prices across the board. So it was your last chance to get the barrels at the current price, so I just emailed them. Actually, it was a Facebook message, and Ryan from IBI was really, really helpful. I had a bunch of questions about their barrels and stuff, and he was great to deal with, very friendly, and fast to respond as well. So I talked to him a bunch, and I was very comfortable purchasing the barrel after learning a little bit more about it, but the price was really the big selling factor for me personally. Looking at some other aftermarket barrel options for some rimfire platforms, the cheapest you can find it here in Canada is about $600. Now, I won't tell you the exact price just because they are bumping up the prices, but I got this barrel for under $450, which I thought was a really good deal. It's the non-fluted version. The fluting is going to cost you extra, but I wanted the straight version anyway, so that was a deal I couldn't pass up, and that's kind of the reason why I purchased it. If it wasn't for the price, honestly, I probably would have just stuck with the original MTR barrel. But anyway, let's get some specs out of the way. From the Facebook post, their CZ454, or pardon me, 455/457 barrel, 22 inches, with what they call their Olympic-style muzzle schnoodle, which is, I guess, just a funny term they use to describe the slight flare at the end of the barrel here towards the muzzle. And it's available in straight or spiral fluted. I asked them if they did have a straight fluted version, and they did not. They only do spiral fluting at the moment, but that wasn't a huge issue to me. I wanted to keep most of the weight, or as much weight as possible, towards the front of the gun, just because how the ACC chassis is balanced right now with the 457 in it. It is quite rear heavy, so I wanted to keep more material on the barrel anyway. And it has a Calfee 4 chamber. Now, I did a really quick Google search on this, and if I'm wrong or if you have more information, feel free to post in the comments, but I think it's associated with a gentleman named Bill Calfee, who has written a bunch of literature on precision shooting, bench shooting, and specifically rimfire. So I don't know if he had some sort of chamber specifications people cut their chambers to, but that's my best guess after like a 5-minute Google search. So if you do have any more information on that topic, that'd be pretty interesting to hear, but that's the best of my ability at the moment anyway. So from their website, which by the way has not been updated yet, they say all their barrels are made from the best 416 stainless GBQ steel. Now, I don't know what the GBQ stands for. I didn't do any research into this, but 416 stainless isn't new to me. When I built up my AR build a year and a half ago or so, I also picked a 416 stainless barrel, so I know it's good. A lot of people like them for precision barrels. And the IBI barrels here are double stress relieved and honed on the only Sunnen 1600 horizontal barrel hone in the country being here in Canada. I don't know what that entire sentence means, but it sounds pretty impressive, I guess, if they have one of the only barrel honing machines. And it says here, this hone can hold bore dimension down to less than 1/10,000th of an inch end to end. So what that's telling me is obviously the tolerances for the bore is extremely tight, which is what you want in a precision barrel, so that's a good thing. And they all get hand lapped after honing as well. They take great care in the buttoning process to make sure our end product exceeds the standards of the world's top shooters, which is pretty cool. So after doing a little bit of research before purchasing the barrel, I was very comfortable in placing the order. I think for the price, it's a steal. The spiral fluted version, as I mentioned before, will cost you more, pretty substantially, but if you think of the amount of machining that goes into putting the spiral fluting in a barrel, it kind of makes sense. I did reach out to some other shooters I knew that shot IBI barrels before, and they all seem to be very happy with it. And if you follow Impact Shooting, Pete here on YouTube, from what I hear in some of his videos, he's going to start shooting some barrels from international barrels as well. So that's really cool. So anyway, again, just first initial impressions without shooting it. I did run some dummy round snap caps through the chamber. Obviously it doesn't tell me how it shoots, but nothing got stuck or didn't have any feeding issues, so that's good to know. I think it's good to go for the range. All I'm going to do before I shoot it is run some patches down the bore just to clean it out like I do for all my new barrels. But really for rimfire barrels, I don't really believe in any sort of break-in process. I just don't think the amount of heat or anything is really going to make a difference. So most of my rimfire barrels I just clean out and then I just shoot as usual. With the announcement of the new Strike Eagle, which was probably about a week and a half ago, I'm very interested to try that, although it is substantially more than the Diamondback. But maybe I'll throw the Diamondback on another one of my rifles and then purchase the Strike Eagle for this one. It's almost like they made the Strike Eagle with rimfire in mind. Obviously it's a center fire scope, but with the parallax adjustment, the locking turrets, it has a zero stop. I believe it's illuminated reticle, although I could be wrong, but the big thing that really interests a lot of rimfire guys is the bigger tube size. So with the 34mm body tube on the Strike Eagle, you're going to have a lot more turret adjustment. So when you're making those long distance shots with your 22, obviously 22 LR rounds have a pretty horrible BC, so they drop like crazy out of the air, and it's good to have that extra turret adjustment in that 34mm tube. So that would be really interesting. Obviously I'll have to buy new rings for that scope, but that's an option down the line. The only other things that I have in mind for this build though is an aluminum magwell. The one that comes from the factory is polymer, which isn't a huge deal. I don't think it's a part that would take much stress, especially if you're using the polymer mags like I am. If you're using the steel mags, maybe it could mar it up a little bit more, but I just want the aluminum magwell. DIP makes an aluminum magwell that I might purchase once the exchange rate isn't as garbage for us Canadians going to the US currency. But besides that, the build is how it's gonna stay for the foreseeable future anyway. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video.